Welcome to another episode of Team Anywhere, where CEOs, leaders, and experts at building teams,
companies,
organizations,
and amazing cultures share how to lead from anywhere in the world. I'm your co-host on the East Coast, Ginny Bianco Mathis.
And I'm your co-host on the West Coast, Mitch Simon. And we invite you to join us to Team Anywhere. Sharing appreciation is fun. Giving recognition is fun. Telling jokes is, of course, fun. Did you know that the number one differential between the 100 best companies to work for and those that are not the best comes down to fun? Companies that are fun show great amounts of communication, appreciation, and recognition. Today on the podcast, we have Dr. Bob Nelson and Mario Tamayo, authors of Work Made Fun Gets Done, share suggestion after suggestion on how to make your team and your organization more fun. To really lead a vibrant hybrid or virtual organization, you want to find out what each of your team members needs to have their own kind of fun. In fact, their book has over 400 examples. And when everyone is having fun on your team will be successful anywhere.
Welcome to another episode of Team Anywhere. And I'm your co-host, Ginny Bianco Mathis on the East Coast. And I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Mitch Simon on the West Coast. And today we're excited to have two wonderful gentlemen. One is Bob Nelson. Dr. Bob Nelson is considered the world's leading authority on employee recognition and engagement. And he is the president of Nelson Motivation. He has worked with 80% of the Fortune 500. I love that, just 80%. Help improve management practices and systems. And have you ever wondered where gurus like Ken Blanchard and Marshall Goldsmith go to get their collaboration and coaching? Well, it's Dr. Bob.
There you
and
go.
He has written many books, and he's sold 5 million copies. Can I have some? Can I have some of those residual? And has translated into 37 languages. He has won many awards and has been on 60 Minutes and CNN and featured in the New York Times. And now, not to be outdone, he does have a co-worker.
My better half.
His better half, Mario Tamayo. And Mario is principal with Tamayo Group and has also worked with Fortune 500 companies such as General Dynamics and Petco. And for many years worked for Ken Blanchard doing some of the more advanced and innovative kind of training with them. And he has an advanced degree in physiology. So he may lead us all through some calisthenics today. And his dream, he still has dreams. He wants to be an astronaut. Okay.
When I grow up.
We are going to talk about the concept of fun. And that is because both of these men have written a book, Work Made Fun Gets Done. And we're going to hear a little bit about that and especially what it has to do in today's environment. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us. Wow.
Yeah, this is great.
Nice
have
intro.
You two gentlemen, you missed the biggest highlight is that they're both from San Diego.
Well, I forgot that piece. You know, those of us on the East Coast, we never know what to expect from the West Coast.
We're the left coast.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Well, election day today.
Yes. Let's not get into that.
We'll get into the left versus the right. No,
Yeah. Let's start with this concept of fun. What is it? What does it have to do with productivity and engagement?
Well, fun, Inc. magazine on the cover of our book says, fun is frivolous, we know, unless you want to attract and keep good employees. Then it's not frivolous anymore. You got to work it into the equation. And this is true. I know your specialty is work anywhere. This is true wherever you're working with people and in any relationship. So if you're really trying to get things done through a hybrid, through virtual workers, fun's got to be part of it as well. Mm-hmm. And we spent last year, 18 months on Zoom calls, and those are fatiguing. You have to be on all the time. And I know a lot of people that have 8 hours of Zoom calls every day. It's stressful. we gotta shake it up and put some fun back into it, which can be done on Zoom, for example. And just to start off with a simple technique I love is called a praise barrage. And that is next Zoom call, you got a group you're working with and you're getting together again. Hey, before we get into the agenda, let's just go around the room. As I call someone's name, I like everyone to share something they most value about working with that person. 100% positive. Let's start with Tom. Now Mary. Now Susie. And 10 minutes later, what have you done? Everyone has gotten positive feedback as about themselves as seen in the eyes of those that they work with. Two things will happen. One, they will feel glad to be part of that team. They will do more of the things they were called out for. And you've just inserted a fun, simple fun activity. It only took a couple minutes.
Right. That's a fabulous example.
We got hundreds of them.
No. I know you do.
Well over 400.
I don't know. So at the end, we'll let you just do this barrage. Right?
Okay.
So I know that in your book, you talk about some different categories. Talk more about that for us here.
Yeah. We have categories for, fun examples. By the way, they're all real company and organization examples in here, but we have them broken down into things that individuals can do to have fun at work. We have things that teams can do. We have things that managers can do, and then we have things for the entire organization to do. For example, some organizations are so committed, they have fun committees. They even have VPs of fun.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They have gotten serious about performance of their company, so they got serious about fun, and now they're providing fun environments. And the Great Places to Work Institute out of San Francisco, they publish a list every single year, and it gets published in the Fortune magazine. It's the 100 best companies to work for. And what they found was, the most recent one, is 80% of the employees from the best companies to work for all say they work in a fun environment. Now, for companies that apply for that list, but they're not chosen, only 62% of their employees say they're having fun. So that's a 20% differential, and it happens to be the number one differential that makes the difference between a great company and a good company.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So the highest performing employees are having the most fun, and people who are having the most fun are the highest performing employees. It's two sides to the same coin.
Yes, indeed. So what kind of tips would you give a leader, a practitioner, for how to choose the right techniques to use, right? Because I can see choosing something and it falling flat.
Oh, I mean, like a prank.
And especially
that canon does happen.
Yeah, especially in a hybrid and a virtual environment, because that's, I was with an executive team yesterday here in San Diego, and and for them it was, oh my gosh, our culture is good, but I'm not so sure we can hang on to it for much longer with so much uncertainty. So I'd really love to get some ideas from you gentlemen on how to do this in a virtual and hybrid world.
Sure. Well, I got to tell you, I just completed a study on work pride in the organizations and what causes that. And one of the variables we looked at was where people were located, if they were in the office on site or if they were virtual. And we found that we looked at two elements of pride: personal pride that one has in one's work that they're doing, and then organizational pride, which is like a part of the culture. How do I feel about the culture? And we were surprised to find that there was no difference between individuals and where they worked and how much pride they had in their work. That's to say that the work we do is portable. It can be done anywhere. We have a strong relationship with what we're doing if we enjoy it, and we have a lot of pride in that. But we were also surprised to find that there was no difference in the organizational aspect either. So the whole notion that you got to be in the office to get the company culture, and it's a misbelief that you can have. In fact, it was actually been slightly higher for people that were not that were working virtually. They actually had more pride in their organization. I think in part because they trusted them and allowed them to have flexibility to manage the work within the context of their life and everything else they had going on. So that they felt stronger about the company they worked for that gave them that advantage.
We find that.
Yeah, go ahead, Miro.
I was going to say, we find that people who are working virtually, we've got to do the same things we do as if they're in the office on the campus, but we got to do it more often. We've got to be very deliberate and purposeful for it. Bob and I like to call it, we need to communicate on steroids. What do we mean by that? We mean communicate often, try and take a preventive mindset when we're managing people. What could possibly come up that I can help them with? And we need to communicate on at least two levels. One is the head. We need to give them the regular information that they're going to need to do their jobs, the cognitive side of it, but we also need to show them and let them know that we care. So we've got to address their heart as well. So this is a huge change we're all going through here. We like to say that people need to get really, really comfortable with having their feet planted firmly in midair. And that's our situation today. And one way we do that is by acknowledging people where they are, their reactions, their responses, and help to nurture and guide them through continuously. Not just once a quarter, not just once a week, but often, early, being genuine and authentic. And if we can do that, we are going to keep the secret sauce going, as you mentioned there, Mitch.
And on that communication, it's so important that, for a busy manager, often the communication just becomes around the problem or the mistake or the policy that was broken or the complaint the customer had. You got to get out in front of it and communicate things that are positive on what someone did well. So if you're just waiting for if you're reactive on your communications, this could be around the negative and mistakes, and you could basically dig yourself in a hole where you're constantly chasing the performance you want. If you want to get out ahead and lead the charge, that's done with positive consequences, which can be even on Zoom, calling out someone, have a meeting with them, and talking about the great job they did last week, or the delight that the customer loved the way you solved their problem.
Sending them a handwritten note or a card. Richard Branson's famous for that. He might show up at one of his company's campuses and he doesn't get to see everybody he wanted to see. So what does he do the following weekend? He writes a personal card. Hey, I was in St. Louis or the Netherlands, and I'm sorry I missed you, but here's what I wanted to tell you. And it was a very heartfelt, genuine note. And what Bob and I recommend is that when people are working virtually, have a standing meeting item. The first agenda item, let it be praise, let it be recognition, let it be something fun. Because today, most people are bombarded with negative news everywhere we go. And so we need to combat that by putting together that virtual gratitude list, which is having fun and doing recognition at every meeting and doing it early. So we start to balance off the energy, getting it from the negative more into the positive here.
And Mario, you said something that resonated with me every meeting. I just had a chat with a senior VP who's doing a lot of meeting on Zoom. And in fact, we even had a team building on Zoom, which worked nicely because we did a lot of fun things. And so taking this forward, people wanted this on a regular basis. And the leader pushed back, well, how can I do this every single time? I said, you can do it every single meeting at the beginning and the end.
Exactly. Let me give you some real examples of that. I worked with ESPN, and the manager there said, whenever we start a meeting, we do it the same way. We start with 5 things that are going well that our group is doing. And he said, sometimes things aren't going well. And we never skip that step because it's our touchstone. It's our home room that by reminding us of the achievements we've done, the things we got done, we're setting ourselves up to take on the next challenge. Lay it on us. We can do this one
Nice.
too. Or at the and when I worked with Bank of America, 200,000 employees, we convinced them that you can't do this randomly. It can't be an afterthought. You got to be proactive, and got them to set a corporate policy that whenever there's a meeting in the company, whether it's 3 people or 300, it will start with some type of recognition. It could be about someone finishing a degree, or maybe they had a kid. It could be a training that was completed. It could be something department achievement they did, something positive,
Yeah.
because you got to constantly feed and nourish that if you want people to have a pride in their work and to work harder and stay with you. At the end is also another technique. I worked with NASA, Johnson Space Systems, and they're voted the #1 best place to work in federal government. #1.
Wow.
That doesn't happen by
Wow.
accident. Yeah, and it was easy to see why. I walked in the building, you could feel the energy. You could hear it in conversations. And I attended some meetings, attended a management meeting, and they came to wrap up, and they said, as is our custom, we want to spend the last 10 minutes of our managers meeting going around the room and asking everyone to share one thing they've done to recognize someone on their staff since we last have met together.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God. And you could just feel the energy and the pride rise in the room. And I noticed something else, that someone said, Jerry, that's a great one. I'm going to try that. They took notes. They took notes on each other's ideas.
Yes.
They became a self-learning organization to get better and better at something that's working for them. This is why they're the best place to work in federal government. This isn't random and afterthought. And about
Yes.
time you finish that report, it's leading with the positive.
Well, a great one, Mary. I'm going to insert this and then have you share. I opened a great manager who has adopted this, opened up the meeting, and she said, all right, I got a note that you all wanted to open up with dad jokes. And she said,
that's funny right there. No, you got it wrong.
Clean dad jokes. All right, everyone go. And they were chomping at the bit. And, it was just a delight.
Oh, okay, it worked.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Maybe that might get old after a while, but it might work, Mario.
No, that was that one meeting. I understood their last one was puns. Coming up with puns.
Okay, so they're warming up. They're warming up.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mario and I worked in the same department, and we did a thing like that. Where we had each meeting. It started with someone giving a joke, and we rotated that responsibility. Now, some people weren't good at telling jokes, but they had a week to prepare. And then even if they told it wasn't funny, we'd all still laugh. It was still maybe it'd be funnier if it wasn't funny,
That's right. No, that's good.
All right, now we shared the responsibility.
Yeah, that's good too. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You have in the book, you talk about 7 strategies that you ask a leader to pay attention to, especially when they're not convinced about this. I don't know about this. This doesn't really belong in business.
Yes, and there's a lot of that, especially higher in the organization, that we pay you to work, and you want to do fun, do that on the weekend in your own time. And
you're right.
And that's all gone now because we've merged work and life. It's the companies that are respectful enough of their employees to know that they're trying to raise kids, and they've got both spouses maybe working, and so it's a challenge for any and all of us. And so to allow a flexibility with a trust, if you will, with accountability is what it's all about now. So it doesn't even matter where people sit if you can set up that environment. And so it's very important that you can ease into it. You can try something, and even if it doesn't work, you can learn from it. Mm-hmm. What might have worked better. But you're going to find that if you try something, some things will work. Then do more of that, or bring other people into it. One of my biggest surprises on the research for this book was how diverse fun is. Because if you'd asked me what fun was, I'd give you easy. That's when you're laughing. You're having fun. You're laughing. If you ask my wife that, she wouldn't say that. Because I've asked her. She goes, "Well, I'm having fun when I I had a day. I got a lot done at work, and I'm proud of what I did. That was a fun day. But really, it didn't involve laughing at all. So, and it was like that for everyone I interviewed for this book, and Mario as well. That they each have a different version of fun, and that's okay. That's great, because now we can tap into everyone's version, and that makes it interesting as well. And I had, like, one of my favorite was, I had a woman tell me that when I really want to enjoy my work, uh, I put on Yo-Yo Ma. He did a concert in 2015. He played for 8,000 people, 3-hour concert from memory. And she goes, it's on the internet. You can listen to it for free. And when I hear that, it feels like God is moving through his hands to make this beautiful music. And she goes, when I have something important to work on, I put that music on. And I feel that same spirit. And I got off the phone with her, and I tried it, and it worked for me. So you can't help it. Feel that you're doing important stuff that's empowering and fun if you've got that going. So we could tap into each other's ideas.
Oh, yes, that open up these different doors of fun and empowerment.
And that's
By
really
just sharing.
what we're most trying to do with the book. We've got over 400 real life examples of what people, and here's their name, and here's their company, and they're doing it right now, and here's the results they got. And
Yeah, I really appreciated that, by the way, that these were very real examples in the book.
yeah,
But
so
I'm bringing you back to a question I had.
Okay.
These 7 things that
Okay,
you
yes.
tell leaders.
Yes, well, the first one is to experiment and have fun. Mario, what would you add to that? We've got 4 do's and some don'ts as well.
The thing is, you've got to speak the executive's language. So you've got to bring them the data that shows that this is really important. And then if you've got a grassroots intervention going in your own department or in your division, whatever, you get it started. You, as Bob mentioned, you experiment, you learn from it. You never make people have fun. You never have them do anything demeaning. One thing you'll never find in our books is no pranks, because we have a principle, and that is make it safe and fun for everyone. Be inclusive. As I mentioned earlier, there are companies that have started committees, and usually an exec who's not really believing it yet will say, okay, go ahead and get it started. Let's see what happens here.
Right.
But when you start to bring the data, and the data on recruitment, and the data on retention, and later on the data on healthcare and costs,
savings,
the savings, it all starts to add up. I used to do this in the 80s when I worked for General Dynamics, when I ran their wellness program. It was a grassroots level, because back then you had a bunch of retired generals that are saying, fun is frivolous.
Right.
No, we're not having that here. Or recreation, we're not playing here. Wellness, no. But we did it anyway, and we started to collect data, and we were able to show how many people came to work for our company because we offered these programs.
Right.
And we had some hard data with that. So that's one of the things.
And actually, with that, Mario, I remember you telling me that part of the transition was you got executives come to some of those programs, attending yoga at the office,
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that sent the message that it's okay to do this for everyone.
We had the VP of HR, and Bob, Bernie Colchin, and most people in San Diego have probably heard of him. He's the dean of HR execs. He's turning 90 next week. We're still involved with him. But he was a sponsor, he was an advocate and a champion, and we got a lot done. One reason we were able to buy 1-minute manager books for every manager in the organization, and back then we only had 18,000 employees in San Diego, so we were a small venture. Back then. One reason we were able to get all our managers those books was because Bernie Colchin supported it, and he sponsored it.
Fabulous. Yeah. Now, see what you think of this. We say things like, in a very conceptual way, like you need engagement, you need to communicate, you want to increase participation, right? All of that. And fun, and the concept of fun, can be seen as a much easier vehicle, a much easier concept to hang all that on. Because if you create some of those fun things, the empowerment and the acknowledgement and the communication and the better culture
it
happen.
makes it easier to do all
Yeah.
those things. So if a group gets together on a task force for a challenge, if they enjoy each other and they enjoy the job, then it's could be a natural thing. It could be a nice welcome break from what else they were doing to get a chance to work with these other people, for example. And so
Right.
it's really inherent in any type of work, any type of job. And so it's not, we're just trying to shine a light on it so you can be a little bit more intentional on this, and more of it will
Yes.
happen, and get the benefits of that we know are there for you. And don't have to believe us. Look in the book, because they're all real
Right.
examples. We actually index all the companies that are featured, so you can follow
Yeah.
up with them and get more details. And the word I've heard from people is they love sharing, because they're if they're
Right.
doing what's being seen as a best practice, that's good
Yeah.
PR for the company and for them. So
Right. And,
Did
and they
we?
can call those up and put their own action plan together for their own
Oh, absolutely. Did
organization.
we mention that? I don't know if Bob, you mentioned this earlier, but anybody can open the book and turn to a page, and they can read the examples there. And if they don't find something they can use, they can just turn the page, and they'll probably find something there.
Yeah. No,
And
that's why I say that's why I love the book.
and one of the best practices is that managers take the book, they get with their team, and they say, "I want you to go through this and
Uh-huh.
initial the things that you like and you'd like us to do."
Oh,
becomes
that's a
And if
a
good
you have any
idea.
other ideas, write those down as well. And guess
Right.
becomes
what?
a
Those are the things that they do, and
Yeah.
people are
becomes a
getting
customized handbook for their own immediate
it's
team.
it's Tony
Right.
Zalasandra's platinum rule. Do unto others the way they need to be done unto.
Uh-huh. Fabulous. All
And
right, let's end with each one telling us your favorite fun thing that you've seen used or successful or even like to be a part of.
wow.
Well, we put
Wow.
ours in here as well, so they're all over the map. But I remember I'll tell one involving Mario. Mario's a nut about Elvis, and
Really?
and yes,
We're-
I, I learned that very early about him when
Okay.
we, we we met at Walt Disney World, the happiest place on earth. So it's destined that we would 34 years later do this book. But he was all things Elvis, and so when we were working together at the Ken Blanchard companies for one celebration, I rented a limo that had an Elvis impersonator as a
Uh-huh.
driver,
Oh,
and
God.
took us all to Disneyland for a day of celebration.
That's fun. Very fun.
It
Right.
was
Talk
fun.
about team building. Now, I have heard you can do virtual stuff like that when you have these hybrid teams, and everyone actually feels like they're going through that same experience. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
creating events like that. All
events.
right,
Well,
Exactly.
Mario, what's yours?
I was just going to mention what you just said, just to piggyback on it. One of my clients, they had a magician, a virtual magician. How they were
Oh,
able to make things happen in the remote worker's house
Wow.
is beyond me, but
yeah.
it happened.
That is
And
fabulous.
yeah, so virtual things you can plan ahead. You can do some things at the last minute. I'll give you one example. A company here in San Diego, they had an art gallery for a virtual. And
Yes.
what they did was they told their staff, we want you to pick out a famous piece of art. It could either be a painting, a drawing, or a sculpture. And then we want you to use household items or something online and include yourself, your family. But we want you to recreate that piece of artwork. And then when we meet next week, you'll
Oh,
show the original, then you'll show yours.
oh,
And uh, Mitch, you've probably been to the Laguna Beach Art
Yes.
Festival.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
This was this
tell our
was the
listeners about
virtual
that.
version of it.
That's great.
yeah.
People got together, and you would be just so surprised and awed at how
Yes.
people came close. Like, for example, the Scream.
Or,
Somebody did the
Yes.
Scream, and they
Oh,
had fruit in
that's
it, and it was like, oh my
wonderful.
god, it's the exact same thing. It was
Oh,
or,
amazing.
that
or
I love that one.
So my fun thing is when Jurassic Park came out. the day it debuted, Bob and I decided, and we made our deadline in product development. We decided to take it. Everybody who already purchased their tickets, we says, we're going to go as a group. And we shut down our department for that one afternoon. We put a sign on the door that said, "Off to a paleontology workshop." And we went over for the afternoon. We watched the movie, had the popcorn, and
yes,
popcorn lunch is another term for that. Popcorn lunch.
Oh yeah, yes, that's a good one. That's
and
again, you all are incredible. You should visit every company and make sure they get into this idea. How can our listeners find you?
Well, we both have websites. Mine is www.drbobnelson.com. That's DRBOBNELSON, and talks about our services. I've got all our books, including this book. They're all discounted, cheaper than Amazon. And so that's that. And Mario, what's your website?
Mine is www.tamayo, TAMAYO group.com.
Fabulous.
And we work with companies. We do. Last year I've been doing a lot of virtual training. Mario as well, and he does actually virtual coaching too. So
I do too. That's what's good things these days. Yeah.
There's initially it seems like, well, we can't. We've been doing it one way so long, we can't do it a different way. But then you try it and it worked, and you get better at it. And now we're doing it. Same is true with all businesses, like doctors. We have virtual visit. We've never done that before. Well,
exactly.
Our local hospital, they've done 5,000 of them. It's like, whoa, I guess we got it down.
Well, I'll tell you, in 2 weeks, on the other side of the coin, in 2 weeks, I'm going to go do my second on-campus workshop since COVID.
Are everyone wearing masks?
I hope so.
I hope so. I know.
I asked everybody to bring their vaccination cards.
There you go.
As well.
Okay.
And they've all promised that.
All right, Mitch, take us home, please.
All right, I'm just checking out. The website here. Dr. Bob Nelson is Dr. Marshall Goldsmith's coach. We definitely have an authority here today on the podcast. That is so great. Now, for those of you who haven't heard of Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, he's a premier coach, and he lives up the street from me here in Rancho Bay. And
just moved to Nashville.
Did he just move to Nashville?
Yeah, that's where his daughter teaches at Vanderbilt, and so be close to the grandkids.
Bob was coaching him.
His daughter's on Survivor, right?
What?
His daughter was on the TV show Survivor.
Yes, she was the first or the second season. Then she was taught at Northwestern, and then they offered her a tenured position at Vanderbilt, and so she took it.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, my son is a Vandy alum. Well, anyways, you guys have so much in common.
We got to get together.
We definitely need to get together. But for those of us who can't get together, we will definitely want to see you next time on the podcast on Team Anywhere. I want to thank you, Dr. Bob. I want to thank you, Mario. I want to thank my incredible co-host on the East Coast. Sorry, you don't have as much fun as we do. Dr. Virginia Bianco.
Well, she had fun today, so
I did.
So if you've enjoyed this episode, please share this episode with your friends, with your loved ones, with your colleagues, and we look forward to seeing you next week on our next episode of Team Anywhere.